Ankh and Ma'at. I hope that you're all able to hear us clearly, see us clearly. Please go ahead and let us know that you are. I know that you probably can tell that we are not at the Shrine of Ma'at. If you read the description of where we are, you know that we're in Atlanta. And so we are coming to you live from essentially a hotel in Atlanta. But you know that Kemetic Ascension is important enough to us that we will attempt to always do Kemetic Ascension when we can, regardless of where we are. And when we are unable to do it, we have wonderful members of the Wenwet priest that will be able to do so. And so I'm really pleased that we are able to be here with you. Please let us know that you are able to hear us clearly, see us clearly. I'm seeing some of you respond. I'm seeing Sanette Cheryl Lee, who is always with us, saying that you can hear us clearly. That is wonderful. Demetra, I didn't realize that you were 25. Yeah, I guess I did know you were kind of close in the area. No, I thought you were. Maybe I did not know you were that close to where we are. So, Ankh and Ma'at to you all. Ankh and Ma'at to you all. It's wonderful that we are here with you. It's wonderful that we're able to communicate with you wherever we are. I see Jehuti Ma'at Ra. How are you, brother? I haven't spoken to you in a minute, my good son. I know that you're doing what you do out in Canada. I hope all is going well with you. This is an awesome connection. Really? That's good to hear, Abut Sashad. That's good to hear, because we are simply using all of the technology that we should be able to use. We didn't feel comfortable with the hotel Wi-Fi. We're not using hotel Wi-Fi. We're using our own Wi-Fi that we carry with us from place to place these days. You can see that we attempted to make this room, which family does not look like the shrine, as a little bit Kemetic, right? So Anika and I spent some time trying to do that. It was probably a little bizarre. Anika made fun of me a few times. I said we were going to Kemeticize the room. She said it should be Kemeticize the room. We had all these conversations about linguistics. That's what happens when you marry a linguist. She's going to tell you about what you're saying. But we, once again, are saying that we are so happy that you are with us live from Atlanta. So, you know that as we begin, we always say, where are you reaching us from? It is amazing that we're able to speak to you using the power of the internet, as Baba Hebrew would say. And so we want to know where you are. You know, we're not in Harlem, we're in Atlanta, but where are you in the world? And how long have you been part of Kemetic Ascension? How long have you been part of Kemetic Ascension? Please let us know where you are. So I tried reaching out, but no reply. Bianca Tate. I'm not sure how you tried to reach out to us. What's the best way? You can go ahead and send an email to jed@shrineofma'at.org. That's one way you can reach out to us. I'm not sure how you reached out. We have so many different ways for you to reach us, and I'll tell you that, as you can imagine, we don't look at them all as frequently as we look at some others. I think there's my email in the chat. You can see it there. If you need to reach us, you can email. That's one good way. If you're reaching out to us on Facebook Messenger, that's neither here nor there. We get so many messages on Facebook Messenger that it really is difficult to communicate. And I will clearly say to you that sometimes it has, sometimes people simply just give us will have a long conversation with us and we're not exactly sure what they're asking of us. It's just their thoughts, and that's fine. So it can be very difficult. We see.
Got your message, Yusuf?
No, I don't think that's someone speaking to Yusuf, I think. We see Sanette Brittany Berry, Sister Brittany Berry from California, soon to be leaving the United States. Ooh, where are you headed to? Wonderful to hear that you are with us. We see Montgomery, Alabama, with LaShawn Kirk on Facebook. Cortia Stinnett, that name is familiar. I think that you've been part of this for some time. I'm seeing Chapel Hill, North Carolina, totally new to Comedic Ascension. Welcome, welcome.
That's welcome. Emmanuel.
Yes, and we see Cortia saying, no sound. Can you hear us? I hope you can hear us. Dennis Allen says, "It's me, Jabari. It's me, Jabari. It is at Yusef. The wife is right. Maybe he's coming up as Dennis Allen for some reason.
Probably using some.
Maybe that is Yusef, brother Yusef. If it is you, tell us where you're at so we know it's really you. Let's see. Nay Ankh is from Virginia, Michigan, and Chicago. Mama Africa, she's headed to Africa. She's saying, we're in Africa. Come on now, you can't just say Africa to people who are completely in love with Africa and travel to Africa. And I see that you're saying that you're in Atlanta too. Wonderful. St. Louis, Missouri, we see. Usually I'm standing in front of the camera and Anika is doing this. I can see how difficult it is now because it's just moving. It's just moving. Tiffany McLean is in Long Island, New York, near where I grew up in Queens, New York. We see Nebuchadnezzar and Hetep in Columbus, Ohio. Oh, you're going to Tanzania. That's not someplace we've been and definitely someplace we want to go. Wonderful, Sister Brittany.
It's Jason Holmes in Lincoln, Nebraska.
Wonderful.
Anna Rodriguez is here.
Anna Rodriguez is always with us. Ankh and Ma'at to you. She's a member of the Hemsenu, so it's wonderful that you're with us. Yukia Winslow is in Lansing, Michigan.
Kawanda Smith, who's traveling with us out in Nashville.
We see Assert Monique in Houston, Texas. Bianca Tate in Melbourne, Florida. We see Sanette Tanya, who was one of the initiates. Yes. We're going to talk to you about what's happening with them in a moment. I think if you've been following, you probably have heard this before. Tanya Smiley's in Atlanta. Sanette Tanya, you're in Atlanta? Are you in Atlanta? Oh, we have initiates that are all over the globe at this point. It's a little bit difficult to figure out where people are. Abutsa Shot holding down the cut. She's holding it down.
Scott asking about the MetaNetter courses. We actually teach that here. I'm the instructor, and the courses will be in the fall, starting in September. So if you're interested in learning more about it, it will be posted on our Facebook page and on our website.
And Bianca Tate saying that she wants to be part of this community but don't know how. She tried emailing, no response. If we did not get to you, we apologize. Please send an email to jed@shrineofma'at.org. I just put it in the chat a moment ago. Please send us your information. You should know that you could go ahead and submit an application, although we will not be having initiation until 2022 now. We're just completing one initiatory class, and they are coming forward really quickly. They'll be full members.
I'm seeing Nebtawi out in Ibadan, Nigeria. Just so you know, we actually have an initiate that's out in your area who will be completing the process this June. So, welcome to our Nigerian family.
Yes. And Nebtawi, you are at this point the person that is the furthest away today, which is amazing. Welcome to the family on the continent, standing with our motherland. We see Jehuti Mess is in there. Jehuti Mess is always near us.
That OG the fourth.
To Jehuti Mess, OG the fourth. Yes, it's wonderful to see you, dear brother, my younger brother. Truly like my younger brother. I've known it for so long. We see Mars Goodman. He says Aus, using the Temple of Anu greeting. Wonderful. Good to see you. We see Mars. Lower East Side Mars. Good. Cool. We see Black T says peace. Keith Scott says he'll be following. The application process is closed. Yes, the application process has been closed because we're not going to be bringing in a new group until probably around December or January is when the application process will reopen, and we'll likely be having our initiation started February or March of next year because we're just completing a group. Keith Scott says, how was Ghana? You should know Ghana was absolutely amazing. And we'll talk to you much more about that. We see star named Q, Kemet Aftermath, coming to us from Indianapolis. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We see Olivia B. McGraw, who is one of the initiates. Welcome, welcome, Sanette. It's good to see you. Now I see Olivia B. McGraw. Usually when she's with us, her name says Info Seeker. We know who you is. You are our sister, member of the family. Welcome. Keith Scott said he's planning a trip for this winter. A trip to where, dear brother? Where you headed? You headed towards New York? You headed towards the motherland? Where you headed? He asked about Ghana? Okay, so maybe you're talking about Ghana. Wonderful. Wonderful.
We have a brother out in Canada, Earl Homeward.
Gavin Stokes, who was one of the initiates. Ankh and Ma'at, dear brother. They're completing their process in just a little while. It's wonderful to see you. Dwa, dwa, dwa.
Another initiate, Neferka, out in Dover, Delaware.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Oh, and I believe we just received some donations. So
wonderful.
Let me give a shout out to those individuals.
I have a friend in Ghana, the Great Airway Tribe. Oh, wonderful. Go ahead, Keith Scott. Make those connections. Make those connections.
Shout out to Sinet Demetra for your donation. Thank you, Twalu. We appreciate you.
And can we also say to you folks, this is a really good time before we start our formal session of Kemetic Ascension for you to send the link on YouTube to your folks, your family, your friends, people who you know should be here with us, and also to share the, to like the page, share the page on Facebook. You know, we're coming to you live both on Facebook and on YouTube. It's amazing that we're able to do that. We're using StreamYard. We're beginning to become really enamored with this particular online software, so we'll probably be using it much more frequently. Go ahead and just share this with the people that you know should be here with us. Dwa, dwa, dwa.
And shout out to another initiate, Sinet Glenda. Welcome. Oh, and Sinet Tashi.
Yes, another initiate. Wonderful. Montage Mont says, the conscious community parents, what our community should look like. Are you calling us conscious community parents? Dua, if that is what you're saying. Dua for being here as well. We're seeing that Bronchi Smith is saying that, Bronchi, you are in Dallas, Texas. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It seems like the last few sessions we have had wonderful people who have been joining us from Texas. Texas seems to have something going on, either it's from Dallas or from Houston. We've seen quite a few of you. Wonderful.
Yes, and please, if you're on Facebook, send us some stars. It helps us with our fundraising efforts for the shrine. So please send us some stars on Facebook, or if you'd like to make donations through Cash App, our handle is $Shrine of Ma'at, or you can always send PayPal donations as well to ma'at@shrineofma'at.org.
Wonderful. Well, folks, let us go ahead and say that we are so honored that you've chosen to join us for Kemetic Ascension for May 23rd, 2021. You have probably heard me say, if you have been part of our sessions, that it's so important for us to gather, for us to respond to the echo of our the echo of the voice of our ancient African mothers and fathers. We know that there's so many other things you could be doing on Sunday. We know that it is not always easy for you all to join us, but we are honored that you've chosen to spend time with us. We are honored that there are other individuals, other divine souls who are absolutely hearing the call of ancient Africa as loud and as clear as we do. So can we say Ankh and Ma'at to you? It is amazing that you're here, and we're so pleased that you are here. And once again, for those of you just checked in, we are coming to you from Atlanta. And so that is amazing. It's very different to be able to come to you from a different location. You can see that we look a little different today than we normally do. We had a wonderful dinner last night with some folks who are looking to do big things within the community. And so we just decided we would come to you from Atlanta rather than trying to rush home to Harlem.
Oh, and you see another initiate, Sen Larry.
Sen Larry is there. Wonderful.
A member of our Wenwet.
Yes.
Abut Wasaret.
So at least two of the priests are here. We saw Abut Seshat earlier, and Abut Wasaret is here. You'll see her listed as Leslie Jackson. So those are folks who are members of the priesthood of the Shrine of Ma'at. I think Abut Seshat is listed as Cy Singletary. So when you see those names, know that they are members of the leadership of the Shrine of Ma'at. They are folks that are on this journey at the highest level with us. They're helping us build this institution. And we also have them working very diligently with our initiates. And that is amazing that we can actually have folks do that now.
Grand rising to Burgess and to Wade. And we see Sinette Adrian is in the house with us.
Ah, there you go.
Sure.
There you go. A fully initiated member of the Shrine of Ma'at, probably out in Philly right now, unless she's traveling. Ankin Ma'at to you. Yes, and AKA at Yoga Girl Sai, yes. Avutsashad is also Yoga Girl Sai or Sai Singletary, but you know that she is one of the priestesses of the Shrine of Ma'at. We see Sinette Taisha. Can I say to you, and I'll say this when we get into initiation, Sinette Taisha was with us virtually the entire day Friday, doing some work for the shrine. Can we say dua to her, dua to her?
Much more.
It was great that she assisted us. Anika and I sometimes struggle to do all of the things that the shrine requires. And so to have initiates come forward and assist is always a blessing. And it was good to see her too. We usually see her regularly, but the pandemic has meant that we haven't seen many of our regular family as regularly. So this wonderful dua, I'm glad that you are there, coming straight from the BX, from the Bronx, or if you live in New York, you know, we also call it the boogie down. So.
Shout out to Coven, our Lighthouse family is here. Wonderful to see you.
And we see Sinette, Abut Sashada saying that join the shrine to me for Monday meditation at 5 p.m. I know you are retooling. Are you back doing Monday meditation? It's been a little while, right?
Yeah, she's back.
Because I think I saw the last video.
Mm-hmm.
Folks, you should know that the Shrine of Ma'at is really doing some amazing things, and Abut Sashad is leading meditation on Monday. So please go straight to the Shrine Facebook page and go to enjoy Monday meditation at 5 p.m. She's able and willing to do those sorts of things. And so we're so pleased that she's there. I see Cortias Stennett is saying, are we going to get a location to attend in Atlanta? That's part of what we were talking about last night.
Yeah, we're looking for people who can help us locate a space and sponsor a space. So it boils down to some fundraising. So that's something that we're considering.
Right. Mm-hmm. And we truly believe that if we are going to make amazing commitments, amazing connections, and actually have real impact in the Black community, in the African descended community in the United States, we have to be in Atlanta. Atlanta is a really key location. So you should know as soon as we are able to, we will have a space in Atlanta as well.
I also wanted to say shout out to Ayo, who is representing the UK today. It's good to see the UK here. I want to say Twa'u to Assert for sending us those stars. We really appreciate it. Twa'u.
Ankin Ma'at. So, Cortia says that she's a realtor. So if your help is happy, you're happy to help. We may need your assistance doing that. At this point, we need to bring those dollars up so we're able to do that. Yeah. So definitely, it's what we would like to do. Clearly, if there was a space that someone had control of on Sundays, that might be something that we could try to do as well for the time being. What's the contact number of the shrine? We generally, by phone, it's a little difficult to reach us because we're doing so much, it's hard to call. I am comfortable giving up my cell phone number, but you should be texting if you're going to do that. If you actually want to reach me via phone, I'm going to make you go through another step. Send me an email first, and I'll give you the phone number so that we're able to talk if you'd like to speak to someone by phone. And the email is, as Shrine of Ma'at is putting up, jed@shrineofma'at.org, and you could just place that up. You can speak to us, but we'd like for you to try to reach us virtually first, because if we put the phone number out, we'll be deluged, as we often have been. So
yes, we do accept Cash App donations. Mendeses, I'm sorry if I'm not saying that correctly, but I will put the handle in the chat.
And for those of you who are in Atlanta, it is wonderful that you are here. We need to actually start gathering folks that are interested, gathering folks that are willing to do work to build a shrine here and in other places. You know that we've talked about, for example, we're going to be talking more with one of our initiates out in Arizona who's been asking to start a shrine there. That would probably be number one. So we would start there. Atlanta is also on the list. Philadelphia is always on the list. We'd love to come to Las Vegas. We're talking about Las Vegas. We're talking about LA. We're priming to the point where we are really ready to go to a few other places. So with that, can we say Ankh Ma'at to you? It is wonderful that you are here with us. We are amazed that we're able to see you clearly. Let us begin the way that we begin. That is with the ritual that actually marks our shrine, the ritual that was given to us by our shrine elder, Baba Heru Ankh Ra Samad Sepata. And Sinet Olivia, we did see I think you sent us an email. We just were so busy that I don't think we responded. We do have brochures. Maybe what we should do is just put some in the mail for you. So let's talk a bit more about that. We return to New York tomorrow, so we can start doing that. And Tashi says, oh, you've been thinking of moving to the West Coast. Something we need to know. Tell us where you're thinking you might move, because it's definitely one of those things that we need people who are particularly members of the Wenwet, members who have been initiated in the Shrine of Ma'at, to really start putting down some roots. So definitely it's something that we would do. Come to Virginia Beach. Let's talk about that.
Actually had family in Virginia.
Sure, let's talk about that. There are some other, we're really at the point, if it was not for the pandemic, perhaps we would have actually started doing this already, but we are looking forward to the point where we will have outposts of the Shrine of Ma'at. Outpost is not the great name. We'll figure out what to call them. And we'll have places that people can go. Arizona or Nevada. Ooh, both of those are plaplaces that we are thinking about.
Yeah.
Both of those.
There's Sen William out
Sen William, who was also,
and my family out there.
Yeah, known as Tehuti Forever, who was a strong member of the Shrine of Ma'at, has been asking for a shrine there for some time. Deep roots here in Phoenix. That's right. There he goes. That's where we would actually look to start first. And so if you were there to assist him, that would be great. And also, I've been doing a lot now in Las Vegas, and so hopefully we'll be able to do something there shortly as well.
And we have one of our Hemsanu out in Reno.
Yes, which is a little far away, but certainly closer than traveling to Harlem. So definitely that might be something to do. Okay. Oh, Brittany Berry, yeah, own a phone home in California, not be selling it, make our move to that. Ooh, we should definitely talk about that. Send Brittany, if you could send us an email so we have direct contact with you, that would be wonderful. Okay. Oh, you've met people in Houston that are looking for a shrine. Sinet Cheryl, are you in Houston right now? I thought you were in the DMV area. Are you in Houston now, Sinet Cheryl Lee? I think she was traveling with family. Maybe she's in Houston with the pandemic. Please let us know. Well,
again, also shout out to Sinet Adrian for a donation.
Dwa.
A shout out to Sen Dion for his donation as well. So we appreciate
and
you.
Real GSTV Studios, I believe, is one of the moderators for Sonetter's platform. So peace to HOK. Peace to HOK. And Sinet Adrian said she's moving south. Interesting. I didn't know that. Interesting. Huh. Okay, I didn't know that. Well, let's talk about where you're going. And definitely we'll figure out what kind of assistance you might be able to provide and how we can help you with your move as well. There may be some people in the areas where you're going that we can connect you with as well. Yeah, visiting her daughter that just moved since last. I remember you saying you were someplace else other than the DMV. So Sinet Cheryl's in Houston. Wonderful. Are you planning on staying in Houston, or are you going to return to the DMV area? Anyway, let's begin. Let us do the opening of the way. You know that it is the ritual that marks our shrine. It is the ritual that was given to us by our shrine elder, Baba Heru Ankh Ra Samad Sepata. And we do this ritual because it reminds us just what we are made of. It reminds us that we are divine. It reminds us that our nature is betrayed by our senses. We might actually think that the only things that exist are those things that we can see, touch, hear, taste, and feel, when in actuality, as divine beings, we are so much more than we believe we are. So with that, why don't we go right into the opening of the way? We're going to do it in a slightly smaller space. You can start there, and We're going to be. Let's see. Okay. That's probably because we went mute here. So why don't you, can you unmute here and then I'll mute here? Let's do this quickly so that I know.
Okay.
There we go. Okay, that should work now.
Does that work now?
It should work. I hope that you are able to hear Anika clearly.
Okay, my aunt family, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Please let us know that we are really doing the the running tech in a very different way. Can you hear Anika clearly? Can you still hear us clearly? I hope you can. Yes, we're hearing yes.
Okay, wonderful.
And we also see that someone's saying they're new to this, but they're reading the MetaNetta series. Wonderful. From Los Angeles, we definitely want to go to LA. So let us do what we know we must, the opening of the way, that ritual that is so important to what we do and to our journey. And so we ask you to be ready. Are you supposed to come this way? No, we're supposed to come that way. Oh.
This is very funny, honestly.
Yes, it is. Okay, so let us begin. Please remember that you should be standing in the position of adoration, which you know means that you are standing with your left foot forward. Act like you're taking a step forward. And then you're going to place your palms up, expose them in front of you. And the left hand should be a bit further forward than the right hand. And as you do that, recognize that the left side of your body represents that which gives, and the right side represents that which receives. And so the commentary, the philosophical commentary is, of course, you must give in order to receive. And so as we stand in this position of adoration, we are doing that which our ancestors have done for thousands of years on temple walls. So please stand in the position of adoration as we do the opening of the way. We're going to ask you to take a breath. Please take it from your diaphragm and then chant the word of everlasting life. Ankh. Let us begin.
Anetrak in Bedhet.
Anetrak in Bedhet.
Nuke in Bedhet.
Nuke in Bedhet. Anetrak Hapi.
Anetrak Hapi.
Nuke Hapi.
Nuke Hapi.
Twa Winter.
Twa Winter. Anetrak Serket.
Anetrak Serket.
Nuke Serket.
Nuke Serket. Anetrak Kebsenu.
Anetrak Kebsenu.
Nuke Kebsenu.
Nuke Kebsenu.
Twa Winter.
Twa Winter.
Turn once more.
Anetrak Ast.
Anetrak Ast.
Nuke Ast.
Nuke Ast. Anetrak Amset.
Anetrak Amset.
Nuke Amset.
Nuke Amset.
Twa Winter.
Twa Winter. Anetrak Neat.
Anetrak Neat.
Nuke Neat.
Nuke Neat. Anetrak Dwamutef.
Anetrak Dwamutef.
Nuke Dwamutef.
Nuke Dwamutef.
Twa Winter.
Twa Winter. Anetrak Newt.
Anetrak Newt.
Nuke Newt.
Nuke Newt. Anetrak Geb.
Anetrak Geb.
Nuke Geb.
Nuke Geb.
Twa Winter.
Twa Winter.
Anetrak Shu.
Anetrak Shu.
Nuke Shu.
Nuke Shu.
Shu. Shu. Shu. Shu.
Shu. Anetrak Tefnut.
Anetrak Tefnut. 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 Tefnut.
Nuke Tefnut.
Twa Winter.
Anetrak
Paut Interu.
Nuke
Paut Interu. Anetrak Mbu Interu. Nuke Mbu Interu. Twa Winter. Take your breath. Dwa winter. Dwa winter. Dwa, 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 dwa. We hope that you were doing the opening of the way with us. Please remember, this is not theater. The opening of the way is that ceremony that marks our shrine, that marks what we do as part of the Shrine of Ptah. The Shrine of Ptah brought to us by our shrine elder, Heru, Baba Heru Ankh Ra Samaj Se Ptah. I almost said my own name. Baba Heru Ankh Ra Samaj Se Ptah, also known as Senur, also known as Samaj. He is our Baba Heru. And his journey allows us to be on our journey. So we must continue to give him ankhs and myrrh. Ask him to continue to draw breath so that we can continue to learn from him, and give him sacred love and sacred light so that he's able to continue to do the work that he has been doing. So we really have to say to you that we are honored to be able to do the opening of the way with you. We hope that you did it with us. It is not theater. It is not theater. You're not supposed to just watch us do it. You should be up and doing the opening of the way, because the opening of the way reminds you that you are a divine entity. It is so important for you to continue to do that.
And also, I'd like to say Twalu again for the donations from Christina Batiste. We really appreciate you. And for the stars from Sinette Glenda. Thank you so much, Twalu.
Wonderful, wonderful. So let us continue with what we usually call our Hesi. And you may remember what Hesi is, right? What is Hesi? Hesi is how our ancestors, literally for thousands of years, have actually galvanized, have recognized, have been able to bring divine energy into themselves in harmony and affirmation. You should know that there's a reason why people of African descent love gospel as much as we do. It's because we've been doing it forever. We were doing it before the term gospel even existed. That's how important this is to the African identity. So we'd like to lead you in Hesi today. Now, we decided that since we were out here in Atlanta, that we just do an oldie but goodie, but not an oldie in terms of the work of Baba Heru, but probably the primary Hesi for our shrine, which is our Asar Hesi. It's one that Anika and I put together several years ago. We enjoy doing it. And so let us do. Is that what you want to do?
I'll follow you.
Which one do you want to do? She wants to do Ptah Sekhmet. We can do Ptah Sekhmet. That is a shrine of Ptah Hesi. We've made some alterations, but you should know that the Ptah Sekhmet Hesi is a Hesi that Baba Heru taught us in the shrine of Ptah many years ago. So we can do Ptah Sekhmet if you like. Okay. So for those of you who are unfamiliar, that Hesi, it goes Ptah Sekhmet Imhotep, Ptah Sekhmet Neferatu, Ptah Sekhmet Imhotep, Ptah Sekhmet Neferatu. And sometimes we still do the we sometimes also add Ankuja Seneb, Ankuja Seneb, Ankuja Seneb Imhotep, Ankuja Seneb, Ankuja Seneb, Ankuja Seneb Neferatu. So you should know that we've added that to it. And we see Sentuti Forever saying that his favorite is still the original Ankuja Seneb. Yeah, that one is simple but beautiful. So that's the one that we've done on many occasions. Today we're going to do one that's almost as old, but we're going to do the Ptah Sekhmet. So please do it with us, okay? It is important for you to actually engage in Hesi. It's a kind of thing you can do when you're walking down the block. It's a kind of thing that you can do while you're doing other things, and it reminds you of your divine reality. So let's go. Ptah Sekhmet Imhotep, Ptah Sekhmet Neferatu, 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 Anku Jasaneb, Anku Jasaneb, Anku Jasaneb Imhotep, Anku Jasaneb, Anku Jasaneb, Anku Jasaneb Neferatu, Anku Jasaneb, Anku Jasaneb, Anku Jasaneb Imhotep, Anku Jasaneb, Anku Jasaneb, Anku Jasaneb Neferatu, Ptah Sekhmet Imhotep, Ptah Sekhmet 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 Neferatu, Anku Jasaneb, Anku Jasaneb, Anku Jasaneb Imhotep, Anku Jasaneb, Anku Jasaneb, Anku Jasaneb Neferatu, Anku Jasaneb, Anku Jasaneb, Anku Jasaneb Imhotep, Anku Jasaneb, Anku Jasaneb, Anku Jasaneb Neferatu, Ptah Sekhmet Imhotep, Ptah Sekhmet 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 Neferatu, Anku Jasaneb, Anku Jasaneb, Anku Jasaneb Imhotep, Anku Jasaneb, Anku Jasaneb, Anku Jasaneb Neferatu, Anku Jasaneb, Anku Jasaneb, Anku Jasaneb Imhotep, Anku Jasaneb, Anku Jasaneb, Anku Jasaneb Neferatu, Ptah Sekhmet Imhotep, Ptah Sekhmet 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 Neferatu. Dwa, dwa, dwa. Aren't these chants, aren't these Hesi that you could do with your family? Couldn't you absolutely do those? I remember seeing videos of families back in the day, families that were Tamu families, European descended families. They would sing like 100 bottles of beer on the wall, 100 bottles of beer. I mean, don't you think that singing Hesi like Ptah Sekhmet Imhotep is at a higher vibrational level than doing something like that? Maybe if you're on a long ride with the family, if you're doing something with the family, wouldn't it be better for you to engage in Hesi? Wouldn't it be better for you to use the chants, use the terms that your ancient African ancestors used when Africans were at the top of the world? I think that's so much more divine.
And I see that we're asked what the translation is. So we're actually calling on particular energies of the divine force. So Ptah is the creation energy. That's why you'll hear Baba Heru use it for his shrine that he created. The shrine of Ptah was the shrine of great creation, and also for his studio, the shrine of Ptah. And then Sekhmet is a divine healer. So that's the energy of Sekhmet. Neferatum is also one who represents the lotus, the one of transformation. So you'll see the lotus flower actually placed on his head as an idea or the concept of great transformation. And Imhotep is that multi-genius who brought us medicine, literature,
architecture,
poetry,
engineering.
architecture, all of
and
that.
Imhotep was considered one of the children at one point of Ptah and Sekhmet, their divine offspring.
Mm-hmm.
But at other times you hear Neferatum being considered the offspring of Ptah and Sekhmet.
Mm-hmm.
Although you'll also hear Neferatum being described sometimes as the offspring of Amun and Mut. So you should understand that one of the reasons why this occurs this way, while the children change, the consorts, the couples change, is because your ancestors were talking about energy. They were not speaking literally. And so when you actually become a master, a cultivator a guardian of energy. You become familiar enough with it that you can feel how those particular energies ebb and flow, how those particular energies feel like they work together in those manners. And so when we do this, your ancestors felt comfortable describing energy in that way. And so it's so powerful. It is so powerful to actually have that occur.
And also, for those of you who are not familiar with Uncle Jasanet, that also means life, strength, and health. It's a common phrase that you'll hear throughout the ancient world in Kemet. You'll see that it's carved on many monuments. It's also actually an abbreviation for a longer phrase, but Uncle Jasanet, we say quite often just to mean life, strength, and health.
It's also a greeting, a salutation. You'll see it sometimes that even in the ancient world, someone might greet someone Anku Jasaneb or say Anku Jasaneb as a closing. It's one of the ways that our ancestors allowed people to receive divine energy. I mean, life, strength, and health. What more can you grant someone when you see them or when they are leaving you? And so it is so powerful that we have these terms that we can continue to use today. These terms that were given to us by our African ancestors.
Yes, and Brother Kareem, you're correct. You have the correct interpretation of the Ta Sacredness and Imhotep.
Very good, very good. So can we go ahead and go into what we call the word from the Sabaeid today? Let's go to the word from the Sabaeid. And as we go into the word from the Sabaeid, I want you to remember, I want you to understand, I want you to recall the importance of our traditions for our ancient African family. In many ways, what we are doing is we are reminding our folks, reminding all of the people that hear the echo of the voice of ancient Africa, that what we are absolutely doing is we are, you can share the slide so that they can, you'll recognize that what we are absolutely doing is we are acknowledging that our ancestors left behind a body of literature that we should draw from. That if you are truly enamored with ancient Kemet, if you find yourself drawn to the wisdom, to the ethical paradigm of ancient Kemet, that what you should be doing is reading those things that come from those wonderful Africans who created one of the world's most powerful societies. This is important. So today, for the word of the Sabaeid, we are talking about the sacredness of the human body. And let me just remind you that Sabaeid is literally the name of the body of literature. It means wisdom text or wisdom literature. And so before the Greeks had what some people would like to call philosophy, in fact, before any other body of literature in any part of the world, there was what is called Sabaeid literature. So today, as we draw from the Sabaeid, as we draw from the sacred literature, we focus on the sacredness of the human body. Take a look at this image. Take a look at this image. I want you to understand that our African ancestors believed that the human body was a sacred device, a sacred entity, something that was imbued with divine power, that your literal physical form was a vessel, was an item, an entity that was divine. And in many ways, this is different than what we hear from the Tamhu. This is different from what we hear from the later Western societies, because they believe that the human body in many ways is evil. In fact, if you have been part of Kemetic Ascension, partaken in Kemetic Ascension for some time, you'll actually also recognize that it is often the reality in the Abrahamic traditions that people actually destroyed their human body in order, in their tradition, to believe that they could reach greater divinity. So you'd see people whipping themselves. You would see people absolutely using these belts, almost like a garter belt made of barbed wire around their thighs, doing things to hurt their body because the flesh was evil, but the spirit was holy. How can we expect the youngest people on the planet to understand the deepest, most ancient teaching, the teaching that is hoary with age, as the ancients would sometimes say? And so we should recognize the ancients of ancient Africa. They were the ones that recognized that your body was divine. And so on the left, you are seeing an image of a wonderful, beautiful maiden. You'll also often see these images of maidens. I believe she has an ankh in her hand. If she doesn't, it looks like she might have at one point, but she is completely nude. You can even see the hair around her hennanet, the hair around her vagina. Yes, hennanet is the Kemetic word for vagina. Why not call something as intimate as as the Europeans will call it, your privates? In other words, keep it away from people. Don't let people know you have them. Keep it private. They wonder if you actually own a vagina if you're a woman, right? It's private. Um, our ancestors believed that these things were sacred. So why don't you use the terms that they use, the hennanet? Dwata Butsashat for giving you a spelling. And then on the right, you're seeing a divine force known as, I hope there's not a delay because I was hoping you all were going to fill that name in at home. A divine being known as, well, before I tell you his name, you can see that he has an erect hennanem. Sometimes you'll hear hennanem, and sometimes you'll hear hennanen. Hennanen is, I think, the one that I can find in the text. That's the name for the penis, the phallus. By the way, phallus is a Greek word. Stop using Greek terminology for your divine, sacred, procreative members. So you see this divine being. What is his name? I'm seeing Asar. Ooh, Alexander Vassal says Min. Yes, Min is the right answer. Min is the right answer. In fact, sometimes you will see him because he has this feather headdress on his head. Sometimes they'll even say that that is Amun Min. So as you see Min, I'm seeing the Min come in hot and heavy now. Y'all are getting it. Y'all are getting it. Min was known to have an erect hennanen. And this was not seen as something that was dirty, something that was not sacred. The later people feel that way. And I know even sometimes when I have conversations with people who are still in the Abrahamic traditions, one of the brothers in the Hebrew Israelites said to me once that the ancient Egyptian deities have no modesty. They were absolutely nasty. And I said, well, what was nasty about them, brother? And he looked at me, he said, you see vaginas and penises. I said, do you have a vagina or a penis? Everyone laughed. I said, I guess that means you must be filthy. Because if you think that it's nasty, you must not be tending to it properly. He was not happy that I said that. But recognize that your ancient African ancestors did not feel this way. It says a minister of information on Crumb TV says ma'at is Greek terminology. That is not correct. You will actually see the word ma'at written as ma'at in the Kemetic text. So minister of information on, I've never heard of Crumb TV, but I'm assuming that I'm not going to assume anything negative about the brother. I'm just going to believe that he's not familiar with the language. You'll actually see the writing of the word, and you'll see that it is Ma'at. So you are seeing these entities that are imbued with sacredness in the nude. And you may also remember that there was a point in the Christian world where these powerful Christians had then taken many of the statues from the ancient world, mostly from Greece and Rome, and they had them all over the Vatican, all over other places. But because they became so uncomfortable with the parts, I almost said recreational. They are recreational too. The reproductive portions of the human body, that they, after the Council of Trent in 1563, they went as far as destroying penises on statues and covering them with iron or bronze fig leaves and And actually, you can see the fig leaf on the bottom, looks like it's part of the statue. They actually created plaster fig leaves and put them over the human form because they were uncomfortable with it. And so this is something that we should absolutely recognize is not part of the African tradition. This is part of the traditions of the West, the tradition of the youngest people on the planet. I'm not sure if you can hear this. I hope you can. This is a video that describes how uncomfortable these Western scholars were with the human body represented in ancient Kemet. Please let us know if you can hear the video. I think yours is muted, so I probably have to mute mine for them to hear it. Can you hear the video? There's a bit of a delay. No, you cannot hear it. Once you go back, go back. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, good. Wait. And I'm going to mute mine and then you can unmute yours. Okay, so maybe that's what it is. Okay. Instead of fighting with the audio, I'm going to just tell you about what they're saying, okay? You can go ahead and play the video now, and I'll just talk to you about what they're saying. Okay, so they're talking about the difficulty with with the feelings around how the Kemetic people were absolutely showing themselves. You say sound is back. You're hearing us, but you're not hearing the video, right? Because I'm just speaking through it, correct? Okay. Okay, and so as you're seeing this, they're showing you some images. You can see an image of a SAR there with an erect tenon. And you can see that it has been damaged. And take a look at this statue. This is a statue of men. The one that I showed you earlier, it is in the British Museum. And those folks were so uncomfortable with it that they literally drilled out the henenum. They took out the henenum. And taking out the henenum and putting it in a museum, imagine that museums actually believe that they are better because they actually have ancient artifacts, and they defiled one in order to show it. This is also how they put the name of the scene over an erect min, so that the Europeans in that museum would be less uncomfortable with the images that you see. This is clearly not something that comes from our ancient African ancestors. Listen here to one of the most important segments, passages, chapters of what has unfortunately been known as the Egyptian Book of the Dead.
My hair is that of Nu. My 2 eyes are of those of Het Heru. My 2 ears those of Apuat. My nose that of Kenti Kas. My 2 lips those of Anpu. My teeth those of Serket. My neck that of Ast the mighty. My 2 hands those of the sole most mighty Lord of Tatu. My shoulders those of Neat, mistress of Sais. My back is that of Sutek. My henenen that of Asar. My liver is that of the lords of Kerabat. My knees those of the most mighty one. My belly and my back are those of Sekmet.
Seket.
Seket, excuse me. My hinder parts are those of the eye of Heru. My legs and thighs those of Nut. My feet those of Ptah. My nails and bones those of the living Ure, or eyes of Heru. There is not one limb in me which is not without a netter, and Tahuti is a protection to my flesh. I shall not be grasped by my arms or seized by my hands, not men or the Neteru, or the glorified ones or the damned, not generations past, present, or future shall inflict any injury upon me. I am he who cometh forth and proceedeth, and whose name is unknown to man.
I want you to know that this is powerful. Imagine that they are saying that first, every part of your being is sacred. That is amazing. And let's go even further. Not only are they saying that every part of your being is amazing, they are even saying that every part of your being is part of the divine. This is radically different than we see in the Western world, where some portions of you are considered dirty. In fact, even when Mary, in the Christian tradition, gives birth to Jesus without traditional sex in the Christian tradition, something that actually was taken from the Kemetic tradition with Ast and Asar, I want you to recognize in this instance, they call that birth an immaculate conception, which implies that regular conception is dirty. That's what that implies. Those concepts have come into the modern Western world to the point where many view the reproductive organs of themselves as filthy, as dirty. And I have to say something to you, family. If you think that your reproductive members are dirty, then maybe that's why when the sun is low and no one is around, you do dirty things with it. If you thought that it was sacred, you would only reserve interaction with your henenen to sacred processes. And so that is an important acknowledgement. I also want you to know that they're saying that you are so powerful that no one can stop you. Not even the Neteru. Look at that. It says, I shall not be grasped by my arms or seized by my hands, not men or the Neteru or the glorified ones or the damned, not generations past, present, or future shall inflict any injury on me. You are so powerful that you are all powerful. This is the fundamental reality that you must understand about who you really are. As long as you think that you are weak, that you must beg the divine force for mercy, what ends up happening is you are not truly an agent in your own life. That is something that comes to us from the Western traditions. So let's continue reading from chapter 125, that's often called the deification of the members.
I am yesterday, witness of eternity is my name, the persistent traveler upon the heavenly highways which I survey. I am the everlasting one. I am felt and thought of as Kepara. I am the crowned one. I am the dweller in the eye and in the egg. It is an attribute of mine that I live within them. I am the dweller in the eye, even in its closing. I am that by which it is supported. I come forth and I rise up. I enter and I have life. I am the dweller in the eye. My seat is upon my throne, and I sit conspicuously upon it. I am Heru, who steppeth onward through eternity.
Powerful. You are eternal. By the way, it says that you are a dweller of the eye in the egg, and even the dweller in the eye, even in its closing. There are so many different ways that we can try to understand what that means. I think that one of the ways that we should understand it is that it is actually saying that you are the heavens. And when they talk about the eye and the closing, I think that they're referring to the phases of the moon. That is who you are. You are as powerful as the moon itself. In fact, one of the divine forces, Kansu, is a child known as the child of the moon. We absolutely see so many different ways that your Kemetic ancestors were trying to explain just how powerful you are. Now, I know that many practitioners are familiar, practitioners at least that come out of the Shrine of Ptah, the Shrine of Ma'at, and I believe also the Temple of Anu, are familiar with that passage, which is generally known as the deification of the members. It is one of the most important chapters of the Reyu, Pert, and Meru and Ger, which is known, unfortunately, as the Egyptian Book of the Dead. It is known by us as the Reyu, Pert, and Meru and Ger. And often we just simply call it the Pert and Meru in short. I know that so many of you are familiar with the deification of the members. How many of you have read that before? Let's see. Now, of course, if you've been part of Kemetic Ascension, you've seen us read it. If you are a full initiate of the shrine, you had better recognize it because we talk about it all the time in our private meetings. So you should know that this is familiar. But let me say to you, I think that many of you are not aware of the fact that the Reyu, Pert, and Meru and Ger, the Pert and Meru, is actually the newest of the translations of these sacred texts. The oldest spiritual text in the world, and by extension, the oldest spiritual text in ancient Kemet, is today often known as the Pyramid text. Now, I say pyramid text simply so you can find copies and do your research if you're unfamiliar, but you should know we didn't call those magnificent structures pyramids. We called them either Mer or Merkut. Those are the names that we used. And so you'll hear me refer to the text as the Merkut text. Are you aware that there is a version of the deification of the members in that text? Did you know that? Did you know that? Unas, Maka actually says the pyramid text, the Merkut text of Unas has it. Yes. Let us read to you from that text so you can see the deification of the members that is probably over 1,000 years earlier than the version that we read to you. So you're seeing here the Merkut of Unas. It looks like rubble today. That's because the later people, the defilers, came and tore off its exterior so they could build medieval Cairo. That is what happened when the Arabs came to Kemet. Let's continue. And you're seeing the inside of this Merkut. You can see that this text is written from ceiling to floor. Can you see that on the right? From ceiling to floor. That is how they wrote this wonderful, magnificent ancient text, the oldest spiritual text in the world. What, Jabari? You mean the Bible is not the oldest spiritual text? Oh, of course not. Well, I wasn't thinking the Bible, Jabari. I was thinking it must have been the Torah or the Pentateuch, the Jewish text. No, those are relatively new compared to the ancient text known as the Merkut text. So let us read the deification of the members in the Merkut text. It comes from what is known as Utterance 213. Let us read. Oh.
O Unas, you have not gone dead. You have gone alive to sit on the throne of Asar. Your scepter is in your hand that you may give orders to the living, the handle of your lotus-shaped scepter in your hand. Give orders to those of the mysterious sights, the dead. That's number 134. And then passage 135 states, your arm is that of a tomb. Your shoulders are those of a tomb. Your belly is that of a tomb. Your back is that of a tomb. Your bottom is that of a tomb. Your two legs are those of a tomb. Your face is that of Anpu. The sights of Heru serve you. The sights of Set serve you.
So can you see here that instead of giving different names for the Neteru, in this version, they are saying that you are that of a tomb. And you should know that a tomb is the origin of the English word atom. A tomb is one of those deities that is known as the first of the divine that came out of the primordial waters to create the rest of the world. So they are saying that you are the eternal creative, the eternal procreative entity known as a tomb. This is powerful. Let's continue.
Utterance 21, verse 148. Your head is that of Heru of the Duat, O imperishable one. Your brow is the one with the two eyes, O imperishable one. Your ears are those of the twins of Atum, O imperishable one. Your eyes are those of the twins of Atum, O imperishable one. Your nose is that of a jackal, O imperishable one. Your teeth are those of Sabdu, O imperishable one.
Powerful. You are imperishable. Imperishable. That means that your soul cannot be extinguished. Yes, these physical forms may slough off. Yes, these physical forms disappear, but I want you to recognize that you are imperishable. By the way, we have seen that our elder, Baba Heru Ankh Ra Samad Sepata, is in the room. We have to stop and give him myrrh. He says, Hetepu. Oh, wait, I should put this. You know, I can do this. I have not done this yet. Let's see. There we go. See, I told you we're new to StreamYard. Take a look. We can put the words of Baba Heru on the screen. He says, Hetepu, Ankamaat beloveds, this chapter is vital, empowering. It can be added to the opening of the way ritual. Uh-oh. Did he just give us a task? It looks like now we have to do some work. When we got to get back and do some work, especially in these COVID times. Thank you. This is powerful because he is telling us that we must do more. And I want you to recognize how powerful that is. I want you to recognize that he is really saying that we should continue to use these texts to live. Dwa, dwa, dwa. Can we give Baba Heru some ankhs and some myrrh? So just go ahead and clasp your hands over yourself. And we're going to give in the position of adoration. I know you're not in the same room with him. Did you think that your imperishable soul was delimited to the space that you are in, to your apartment, to your house, to your block, to your neighborhood, to your state? Give energy and he will receive it. Let us do this together now. Clasp your hands, left over right, and then put them forward in the position of adoration and just chant the word on. We're giving divine life to Baba Heru because we know that it is through his journey that we are on our journey. And so when he comes in to see what the kids are doing, we have to recognize that he's come and tell all of the folks that are here for Kemetic Ascension how honored that we are, that our teacher of so many decades has come to see how the family is growing and how the family is moving. So, Dwa Baba Heru, Dwa Dwa Dwa. It's wonderful to see you, even from Atlanta. Let us go ahead and read the second part of the Mirkut text, where you'll actually see that as Baba is talking about the opening of the way, your African ancestors, your ancient ancestors saw it the same way. I want you to read this and notice that this is why the highest level practitioner, Baba Heru, recognizes this is connected to the opening of the way.
Verse 149. Your arms are those of Hapi and Dwamutef, which you need to ascend to heaven. And you ascend, and your legs are those of Amseti and Kebsanuf, which you need to descend to the lower heaven, and you descend. All your members are those of the twins of Atum, O imperishable one. You did not pass away. Your Ka does not pass away. You are a Ka.
Listen to that. We are being told that your arms are of Hapi and Dwamutef, and your legs are of Amset. It says Imseti here. That's another translation of Amset. But you know, we usually speak the word Amset instead of Imseti. Amset and Kebsenuf. Don't you see that those names are the four that we speak in our sacred ritual, the ritual that was given to us, that was put into its current form by our shrine elder? This is a representation of what we know as the Mesu Heru. Some of you who are new to the tradition might recognize that these are the heads on those devices that are sometimes called the canopic jars. Now, of course, Canopus was a Greek deity. That's not what they should be called. We knew these divine entities as the Mesu Heru. So they are telling you here that your arms and legs are of the Mesu Heru. Powerful. And I think it's also very interesting that as we look at this, they're telling you that you can ascend to heaven and descend to the lower heaven. I wish I could tell you what they mean by that. Mysteries that have not yet been revealed to my eyes. But I want you to know that it sounds to me at the very least that you, the imperishable soul, have mastery over all of those divine spaces, those divine places that those who have lived in righteousness, those who are Makeru, truer voice, ascend and descend to. This is powerful. Remember that all of your members are the twins of a tomb, and that you did not pass away. They're speaking to Unas, they're speaking to Teti in their tombs, but this is your story as well, beloved. That you are in fact imperishable, that you cannot disappear, that you in fact are a divine soul, and that you cannot be extinguished. This is why that ceremony known as the opening of the way is so important, because it reminds us just how powerful we are. If you are imperishable, imperishable enough that death cannot stop you, why is it that your taxes are stressing you out? Why is it that your rent is something that's causing you tears? Why is it that your mortgage is something that got you having a migraine? Why are you at the bar, the local bar, or even worse, in your living room, imbibing, over imbibing, drinking, getting ossified because you have too much stress? Well, I am saying that you only have too much stress because you don't recognize how powerful you are. None of these things that are besetting you, none of these things that are preventing you from being who you must be are above or beyond you. You are the master of both the upper and the lower heavens. This is how powerful you are. If you remember that, none of those things that seem to be difficult are quite difficult. We only want you to remember that which you have always known. that you are in fact as imperishable as the stars, that you in fact are powerful, and that you don't need to beg anyone, not even the Neteru, for your divinity. But of course, this means you must live into it. Of course, this means you must practice your divinity. Of course, this means that you must do all of those things that speak to your divine, everlasting, eternal power. I'm here to say, beloved, that you've been playing it small. I'm here to say that you have been hoodwinked, led astray. Yes, you didn't think I wasn't thinking about my brother Malcolm on the week that we recognize his transition. That you've been hoodwinked, that you've been led astray, that you have been confused about who you are. I constantly say to Anika that we need to film a video. I'm going to go to a gym and I'm going to go with a big brother as a trainer. And I'm going to say, okay, I'm giving you $200 a month to train me. And this trainer's going to be working out and saying, this is how you do it. And I'll be sitting there on my phone going, I'm watching. Yeah, it's good. He's going to say, you're not going to work out? I'm paying you to work me out. And then after a month, I'm going to come back and be angry and say, look at me, I'm still a wimp. What's going on? I paid you to work me out. And that big guy is going to say, listen, beloved, you can pay me to show you how to do it, but you have to do the work yourself. In many ways, this is not about getting diesel. This is about what you have to do every day, beloved. That you must work out your divinity. That you must be the imperishable one. That you must recognize that every portion of your body, every member is guided, is guarded, is controlled, is in fact a neteru. We only want you to remember that which you have always known. Remember who you are, Kometi-yu. And we will be able to do the things that our community direly needs us to do. So with that, I say the divine force in me greets the divine force in you. I truly hope that you are with us, that you are what we are doing. I'm hoping that you are able to continually be part of Kemetic Ascension. I'm hoping that these words that we are giving you are words that will help you do your work so that you can be the individual that our ancestors believed that you must be. I say, the divine force in me is the divine force in you. Dwa, dwa so much. Anika, can you lead us in a final affirmation?
Sure. So we're going to do the oldest prayer ever written that by our ancestors known as the Amasu. So I welcome all of you, especially the new people, to join us. And we say it in the language of our ancestors, the Medunetta, as well as in English, so that you know what the translation is. So please repeat after me. Amasu and Pantel.
Amasu and Panter.
Sauksu Ametra and Pantel.
Sauksu Ametra and Panter.
Autu Aura.
Autu Aura.
Maketi Paherura.
Maketi Paherura.
Give yourself to the one most high.
Give yourself to the one most high.
Keep yourself daily for the divine.
Keep yourself daily for the divine.
And do it tomorrow.
And do it tomorrow.
Just as you did it today.
Just as you did it today.
Twa Winter.
Twa Winter.
Thank you to the divine.
Thank you to the divine.
And thank you to all of you.
Thank you to all of you. Well, folks, it has been a rush. It's been a lot of fun coming to you from an undisclosed hotel in Atlanta instead of from the shrine. We really want you to know that Kemetic Ascension, in fact, not just Kemetic Ascension, but this gathering of our family is important enough that wherever we journey, wherever we travel, we try to come to you so that we can once again worship together. Can I say dua, dua, dua to you? I'm looking forward to seeing you all. First of all, I want to remind you that we are actually having a weekend that celebrates the journey of our recent initiate class. They are about to complete their journey. and become full initiates of the Shrine of Ma'at. That is going to be on June 12th and June 13th. And so if you're able to come, please come. Particularly to the celebration, which will be at 2 p.m. Saturday, 2 p.m. in Central Park. If you want to know what part of Central Park, look for the Dana Discovery Center. If you search for the Dana Discovery Center, know that our celebration will occur right at that section of the park. You'll be entering at the northern end of the park at around a little bit, a 1/10 and about Lenox or Malcolm X Boulevard. Yes, we're mentioning our divine ancestor Malcolm X again. So please, you can still join and celebrate those individuals, many of who are in the room right now who are celebrating. And I also should recognize that I saw the priest Jamar, a member of the Wenwet, enter the room as well, but we were in the middle of something. I didn't say Ankin Ma'at to him. It's wonderful that the priests, the leaders of the Shrine of Ma'at, are with us as well. So with that, we hope to see you soon. And we also hope that you are continuing to remember your divinity, doing the opening of the way, and doing those things that our ancestors expected you to do. Ankin Ma'at, Shem We'll see you soon. Much more.